Alright, I want to make a short video about the Corvette Generations. You may often hear Corvettes being referred to as C1s or C2s or all the way up to C8s. What does that mean? Well, the C1, of course, is the original, the first generation. It was introduced in 1953 and was not a resounding success. Sales were rather poor, but the car was also seemingly incomplete. It wasn't until the introduction of the V8 engine in 1955 that the car really started to take off, and with the diligent work of Zora Arkus-Duntov, which gentleman has been regarded as the father of the Corvette. He set some speed records and really legitimized the Corvette, and then sales started to climb. The C2 was introduced in 1963, often known as the split window Corvette. That feature actually only lasted 1 year. But they also introduced some critical items such as large all-disc brakes. I suppose that was 65, but that system remained until 1983. They also introduced the independent rear suspension, and that's also lasted till 1983. The frame remained also till 1983. So in other words, when they introduced the C3 in 1967, under the skin, it was pretty much a C2. The frame and suspension system and brake system and rear independent suspension just did not change. So as much as the C3 was seemingly a leap forward, under the skin it was pretty much 1950s technology. And I'm gonna get some flack here from the Corvette people, but that C3 Corvette was a brute, unsophisticated, slow steering, and General Motors just refused to go to what Zora wanted, was a rear engine, mid-engine car. But General Motors refused to invest money, and the Corvette's always been a moneymaker for General Motors, because they've shoestringed the development, but got some profits out of it nonetheless. So the C3 was introduced in 67, lasted till 83, actually 82, 83. There were a few limited edition cars. Some of them actually were C4s. So the C4 was introduced in 1984, and that was a true game changer. The car was a complete revamp and was quite successful in SCCA sport car racing, so much so that within a few years, the CCA says, that's it, you're out of here, get your own. They pretty much outlawed the Corvette, because when they showed up at the track, everybody else also ran. So the Corvette C4 was a great success in that respect. The price increased quite a bit. Sales suffered somewhat, but they still were a profitable vehicle for General Motors. The C5 was another magnificent step forward. C5 was introduced in 1997. Also introduced the new LS configuration engines, which turned out to be an extremely durable, reliable, powerful power plant. And that's when Corvette went to Le Mans racing and started certainly, I wouldn't say dominating, but forced Le Mans scrutineers to come up with rules to slow the car down because it was beating pretty much everybody. The C6 is a refinement on the C5. The C6 was introduced in 2005, remained till 2013. The C7, a further refinement on the same, was introduced in 2014, lasted in 2019, and then the C8, which is the mid-engine version of the Corvette, was introduced in 2020, and that was a game changer. That the Corvette stepped up again and remained a force to be reckoned with on the World Sports Car Challenge Series. And the C9 is scheduled to appear in 2030 as it stands. And from what I hear, insiders at General Motors, it's absolutely awesome looking car. So that's it, C1 to C8 in a short little video. That's the story of the Corvette. Thank you guys.